this is Sue, and there is my protege over there, Veronica. We're going to be doing today our second episode about uterine cancer, and I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions or anything, put them in the comments below. Okay, Veronica, what are you thinking today?
So let's see. So this is our second episode, so just be very patient. This is still a work in progress. Okay?
Yeah, we don't know what we're doing, but we're doing it.
But we want to do this because we want to we want to make women aware of what it is to go through uterine cancer or any type of like women cancer, right? Because
right, anytime, yeah, ovarian, doesn't
it's
matter.
not the same thing, but it's in the same area. So
Right,
we just
right,
want to hold, when you get diagnosed with any type of cancer, obviously it's not something good, right? You're
right.
gonna take it as something's gonna happen to me. Oh my God. You think the worst, right? I'm gonna die.
I think, yeah, it's a death sentence. I felt like it was a death sentence. Like, oh, this is it. I better go home and write my will. That's how you feel.
Yeah, that's how you feel in the moment that you first find out.
Right.
You're
right.
like, oh my gosh, this is not something good. Something's gonna happen to me. What am I gonna do? And if you have kids or young kids or whatever, then you think, oh, what's gonna happen? Or if you're still young and you want to have kids, you're like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? Now I'm not gonna be able to have kids, and I'm still young, and I'm gonna go right into menopause. Because when you have a hysterectomy, you go into menopause right away. And if if you haven't gone through it, you're gonna feel weird.
So to the audience, I want them to know this. Veronica is 47, or you're 47?
I'm 48.
48, and I'm 77. So there's a 30-year gap between us, but pretty much everything's kind of the same, what we've been going through. So even though she's very young and I'm pretty old, I just want to let people know that it happens at any age. It doesn't matter. So this is important that we kind of let everybody know that. So, and my problem was when I found out, I didn't know how to tell my family, like, how do you sit them down and say, you have cancer? Should I tell them and not, should I not tell them? How did you do that, Veronica? Because you have a child too.
So what I did was, I was on my lunch, and so I got the call, and then I told him right away. He heard me crying, and so I told him, oh, I just got diagnosed with cancer. So of course I was crying. He got upset, and it's hard, but sometimes you have to just blur it out, because at the end of the day, you're going to need that support. You're going to need the closest people to you to support you. I mean, they don't have to say anything, but they need to be there for you emotionally. Because it's hard to go through. It's very hard, because when people know that you've gone through cancer, or you have cancer or something with cancer, they don't know what to say to you. It's like, oh, don't say nothing to them because they have cancer. Right. They don't want to talk about it.
Right.
Right? It's a very touchy subject to people.
Very. And I think that was one of the hardest things for me, to first accept the fact that I had it, which I didn't want to, and then have to tell the family, like, well, I got to tell you something, better come over. I call them on the phone. Then they all call each other and talk about it. Mom, and that was hard. That was hard, because I didn't want them to really know right away, but because I didn't know what I was going to do, with the treatment. So, but we did it, and
I kept myself busy, because when something happens to me, I keep myself busy, because if I have too much time on my hands, I start thinking the worst.
Right.
And that's how I cope with stuff. But it's a lot. It's a lot of emotional too. It's not just, oh, I have cancer. What else comes with the cancer part? Because when you get diagnosed, you're going through your own self-awareness, and what are you going to do regardless of what people say to you? You're just going through the emotions. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's why we're doing this podcast, because your family's there for you, but they don't understand what it is to go through this journey. And just
Right.
because you get into remission doesn't mean it's over. It means now your
Exactly.
body's changed. Now you're
Right.
going through the emotional part of getting, sometimes you feel happy, sometimes you feel sad, sometimes you feel anxiety, sometimes you're overwhelmed. That's how I feel.
And
And
and there's always that fear it's going to come back, because after you have the radiation, I don't know what happened with you, Veronica, but I had asked the doctor, I said, is it gone? After the last one. Well, it looks clear, but I can't tell you it's not going to come back someplace else, or go somewhere. They can't say that to you. And then just to say that to you is like, my, you get crazy. Like, oh my God, it could come someplace else. She said, yeah, it could. So that's the worry. So every time I get a pain and this and that, and I'm a lot older than you, I get a lot of pains anyway at my age, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, could this be that? Or so
mhm.
I have to get tested every 3 months, and they do blood work for me, and they do an exam, which I absolutely hate. And then it'll be like this for 2 years, so I have another year to go on that, and then it'll be 6 months, and then another 3 years after that. So it's a long process, and you have to go. If you don't go, then why even bother go doing everything? Really, if you don't go, it's silly. So of course we have to make that decision. We're going to go, and we have to go. That's it. So I get apprehend right before I have to go. I get an anxiety attack, and I'm worried, and until they say, okay, you're good. See you in 3 months. Is that how you feel too? Yeah.
Yeah, especially, well, I just went to my radiologist and he said, and we always have a good conversation. And so I told him, this is how I feel. And when you get scans, sometimes you see things you don't know, right? You get the test before the doctor reads it back to you. So, and I'm the type that likes to know what's going on in my body. So I ask him, hey, can you go over it with me? Because I like to know. I like to be educated of my own body. It's my body.
Right.
I know. So I try to ask a lot of questions to doctors, but sometimes they don't have time for me. And I tell them, you guys need to have time for the patients because it's our body. And we need to know what's going on with us. That's what I told him. He's like, yeah, thank you for saying that, because that's something that we sometimes don't realize, that people need that time with their doctor. So
Right.
but yeah, like me, I was going every 3 months, so now I'm going every 6 months. But it's a bunch of tests that I have to take every year.
Yeah.
I have to be taking a CT scan. I take, um, I'm taking, blood work, like you said, I have to do, um, they just have to do a bunch of tests on me. Colonoscopy this year. It's a lot on my body, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I got to look at it as
Right.
it's something. If they see something, they'll catch it in time,
Right.
you know. But it's a lot of on your body,
It
because
is. Yeah.
because
It's a
it's
lot.
not a good feeling to be going through all that.
No, it's a constant. Even though you get it clear at the time, at that time it's clear. So you don't know what's going to happen next month, next week. That's the whole thing. You don't know. And that's what gets me nervous, is like, so I had a really bad virus a few weeks ago. I was really very, very sick. And right away you say, oh my gosh, is this something related to that? Because I wasn't getting better. And I found out, well, because you had cancer, your immune system is low now. You had radiation. It does a number on your body. So it took me a long time to get better. I don't know if that's happened to you, Veronica, but the getting better part it's not as easy as it used to be. It takes a longer time for me to get well.
Yeah, it takes a longer time to recover from something.
Yes,
Yeah,
it does. It's a longer
yeah,
recovery.
but
Yeah,
I think with time, I mean, we're never going to be the same, right? It doesn't matter
no,
who you are. But
yeah, it's true.
I think talking about it and being aware of your body is something good, you know,
Yeah,
and talking about it, it helps out,
It
because
does.
sometimes I feel like I'm okay, and then sometimes I feel like I'm upset. I don't know why. I'm like, what the hell? I'm not even doing
Well, when I
anything.
get upset, I want you to know, I take this guy and squeeze it.
Your avocado.
That's right. I squeeze it because I can't. I get worried. I'm like, you know, what are you going to do? You just kind of like, I get over it. You got to. And I have a good support group. I have great kids. I got a good boyfriend. He's wonderful. But it's still, I can't explain it. It's still in my mind all the time.
Well, yeah,
It's just there.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
there.
It's never gonna go away. It's always gonna be there in the back of our minds.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. How do you feel like? How do you feel physically? How do you feel like this has affected you physically?
Well, like I said, it's always there. I hate to say it because I don't want to give anybody, a bad feeling about it. But for me, it's always on my mind. Like when I don't feel good, especially I wake up and I'm like, and then I try to say, I woke up today. Thank you, God, I'm alive. And then I think of that. And then when I do go to the cancer treatment center, well, I go to City of Hope now. They changed the name on it. I go to City of Hope. I love it. They're wonderful. When I go there and I see all these people that are coming in, and there's no children in that hospital, so I'm grateful for that because I couldn't take it. I couldn't see children suffer. But when I see people my age and younger and older, and they're in such bad shape, and they could hardly walk, and I say I'm lucky, I'm blessed that I'm here today, and that kind of brings me back to reality. When I do go there, I see them and go, okay. Do you feel the same way when you go to your hospital visits? Do you see that?
I
I
see
don't
a
know if you go.
lot. I see a lot of like people getting treatments, like when I went to
Yeah,
radiologists, and it's kind of like I see a lot of women that and I think, oh, what are they going through? You know,
yeah, yeah. And they're
and
just starting going through and they're just beginning it. Yeah,
and
I feel
sometimes
sorry.
people take it the a different way. Sometimes it's hard for them to go through radiation or chemo or stuff
Yeah,
like that, and
yeah,
doctors just give you your options, and it's up to you to know what option you want, what's
right.
best
It's
for
hard. It's
you,
not easy.
because at the end of the day, they only can do so much. They only can help you with what they have options with.
Right.
And that's all they can do. They're giving you options, and if you're not okay with the options, then what really can they
Yeah.
help you with? You know?
Well, it's true. It's when they give you a decision to make. I don't know how they did it with you, and they said, "Well, do you want to do after the hysterectomy? You go back." Well, with my doctor, you go back, and they do all these tests, and then the PET scan, the CAT scan, all kinds of tests, and then they say, "Well, you have an option. You could do the radiation, the brachytherapy. It's radiation. Do you want to do it?" They explain it to you. They took a long time to explain the whole thing to me. They were wonderful, and I said, I have to think about it. And they were like, "What?" I said, "I can't make a decision." They said, "Well, this could save your life, future down the road." I said, "I have to go home and think about it." And they looked at me and said, "Okay, we're not going to. And it took me 2 weeks to make a decision. And like I told you, I went to the doctor and I said to him, if I was your mother, he'd say, I'll tell you to do it, because I was so afraid with the radiation. And truthfully, it wasn't that bad. It really and truly wasn't that bad. After it was bad, but while they were doing it, I'm laying there like, oh my gosh. Yeah. And it's so crazy because, Veronica, when I was laying down ready to go in the machine, I took a video. I have a video of myself. So funny. And they were coming and going, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm taking this video because I don't know if I'm going to come out of this. But they were laughing. And I did a video of myself ready to go in, and I talked about it and everything. I did it from my own brain because you're alone there. And there was like, they said, "It's okay. If you want to use your phone, you can." But, it's this very, very big decision. And I'm glad I made it because here I am talking to you today, you know.
Yeah.
So,
And that's
yeah.
that's why we're doing this podcast,
Yes.
different episodes, because um it's it's a hard subject to talk about, but at the same time, I think it's something good, because what if you need some type of guidance, or kind of like I said, we're not doctors, we don't know anything like that. We're just
Right. We're
talking
not,
about our
yeah,
experience.
we're nobody. We're just two women.
So we're just expressing our what happened to us, and that's it,
Right.
and
Right.
this is just to kind of guide you in the direction of what we went through and what we're still going through, and how even though once you're done with everything, you're still going through your body changing, your emotions changing, you getting different type of emotions all the time, and your body's out of whack, and you're feeling sad, you're feeling emotional, you're feeling happy, then that's how I feel. Or your legs hurt. My legs hurt a lot
Oh, yeah.
when I exercise, because I started exercising, and I said I'm gonna exercise to kind of, you know, decompress my emotions, and that
Which
helps
is
me out.
good. Right.
It helps me out, but it's just a lot of what is best for you as a person trying to get back to
Right.
your regular routine. But at the same time, now you have something else you have to attach to your life, which is now you got to go get checkups. Now you got to go
Right.
see your oncologist. Now you got to go see your radiologist that's either going to help you with chemo or radiation, and what are they telling you, getting all these tests done. But at the same time, it's helping you out, because you're trying to you're trying to
Right.
live a good life, like a
Right.
regular life, you know.
Right.
So
It's true.
that's what I think.
Yeah. You got to keep busy and keep your mind going. Well, you work full time, so it's a little bit different from you. I'm semi-retired. I'm a realtor, and I do work, but not like I used to, But it's different for me than for you because you're a full time worker, and so you I have maybe too much time on my hands sometimes. But I have a lot of family, a lot of grandchildren, great grandchildren, so I keep myself busy. But that's the whole thing. It's mental, it's physical, and it's mental. Mental. And sometimes you need to talk to somebody professionally, or maybe you do, maybe you don't. But there are a lot of avenues out there to help us, but you got
Mhm.
to find them, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if somebody wants to jump in on our podcast, tell them how they could do that, Veronica.
So we have a group on Facebook. It's called Avocado Sisterhood, and this is what this podcast is called as well, because it's more for women, because we're going through this journey. So I started this because so that we could talk about our experiences and what we're going through individually. So whoever wants to come on here and just kind of give us a backstory of their experience and what
Right.
they're going through or what you're going through, um, just let me know on there, or just send me a message or send Sue a message, and then we can go ahead and reach out to you privately. So we can
Yeah,
set
that'd
it.
be good. We're open to that. Anybody else that wants to come in and talk to us, and we
Yeah.
could talk to them, and we're always open to new ideas and things like that. So
Yeah, so I mean, it's right now it's geared to this, but I mean, we're probably going to gear to other subjects in the future. It's not just going to be on
right,
based on this,
right.
because us women talk about a lot of stuff, not just this. This is not our
Yeah,
life,
we have a
but
life and lots of stuff going on and things like
but
that.
we're trying to gear like some episodes towards this subject right now, so that way we can let you know like the process and what you would
Right,
need to
right.
go,
And
just in
even
case you don't know. You know.
right. And then we're going to talk about one time healthy foods to eat, things that they told us we should eat and things like that. That's like a very good subject also.
Yeah, so I mean, for now, I think if you want to hear a specific subject on this subject, let us know, and then we can go ahead and talk about that. But for now,
Right.
um, this is
We're
what
getting familiar with
we're just
this.
kind of doing, like our backstory for us and what we're going to be talking about, and to kind of um, guide you what we went through, so that way you're not going through this struggle and thinking, oh well, is this normal, how am I feeling. I thought it was normal because that's what I was getting told by the
Right.
doctors, but it wasn't. So um But next week we're gonna do another episode. So like I said, if you guys have questions or anything, just
Right.
drop it
Sounds
down
great.
on the
Yeah.
comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next
Sounds
week.
good. Avocado
Bye.
Sisterhood. Go for it.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.